been a few months since we last sat down in Valencia, actually. But Jimmy, welcome back to On the Water Anarchy. How are you, man?
I'm good, mate. Always good to see you.
Yeah. I mean, this is a little different. This is like I think all the sex appeal without all the politics, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot nicer being on the smaller scale, but still, it's a flashback to how much work it takes, you know, to get these wings going. I mean, I've sort of been here for almost a week now, and we've done 20 minutes of sailing, and you know, a lot of work in the wing. But man, it's exciting to see 6 of them in the shed.
Yeah, and it's almost, I mean, it's almost like a 6-boat program. You know, like everyone's looking at each other's wings and modifying them to take good ideas from the other guys, and the other guys seem happy to have it go on, and it's sort of refreshing, huh?
Oh, it's great. Like you're in each other's trailers. You know, you're borrowing stuff. You can look at some of the cool ideas the other guys have done. So, but I think that's what's Fred and Magnus have done a really good job of, and Steve, you know, and the guys setting it up, because they really need to be credited to bringing this interest back into the class. Yeah. And to do that, they've been open and allowed people to come in and get up to the right level.
Well, I mean, transparency with transparent wings and transparent people and the public being able to walk in and out at will. It's sort of, it amazes me, especially with these incredibly expensive things, but no one seems to mind.
I think it's awesome, and that's what we need, and you know, in this sort of sport, to grow it and create the interest. Because people originally, when they were walking down to the tent, you can see them; they're a little bit cautious, but then we're just saying, "Hey, come in and check it out," and it's a pretty cool thing.
You haven't had any shrink wrap melt away from someone flicking a cigarette butt yet, though, have you?
No, not yet, but I'm keeping an eye on you when you're around the wings.
Jimmy, you're sailing Alpha, the Defender, the one that won this in 2007. But you've only had, well, you don't know, you have more than 20 minutes on her because you sailed her in Canada, didn't you?
Yeah, about a year ago we went up. We did like a weekend session with the guys, and Mike and I managed to tip it over, and then we came back for another session before we put our big one in the try, and did another few days there. So we have had a few days there. It's been a while, but really, you know, I mean, it's for Glenn and I, we've done a little sailing on the F-18, but I mean, we've really approached the event to have a lot of fun. You know, we've been pretty excited about it. Yeah. And obviously we want to do well, but we're just glad to be here.
How helpful was your time training in Canada with those guys, and what they had to say to how you approach the big boat?
Oh, it was just essential, really. I mean, that's where we made the contact with Magnus, obviously. Magnus came on and, you know, skippered the boat at night, which was a huge deal. I mean, if there was some nights in Valencia where if it didn't get through it, you know, it would have been over. Yeah. So he had a huge amount of responsibility. So without that association, without learning about the wings, how to handle them, you know, trim them, etc., etc., it was really a stepping stone. And if we didn't do it, it would have made things a lot more difficult.
As it was, you didn't really have much time to get things up to speed, you know?
No, exactly. So as it turned out, it was for the sailing side. We had very little sailing side with the wing. So, yeah, it was pretty important, but it's just great to be back here.
Yeah. So obviously we're postponed for the 3rd day. Maybe it's starting to lay down a little, maybe. There were murmurs of pushing the limit out and making sure that you guys can actually go out sailing. You okay going out in 25 knots?
Yeah, Ashby and I are just bouncing off the walls at the moment. We're ready to go. We'll take the top off the wing if we have to, but we don't own it.
Reef the wing. So you don't own it. You want to build a little America's Cup boat?
Oh, mate, we'd love to get involved in this. I mean, regardless of what way the Cup goes, you know, I'm going to try and be involved in this sort of stuff because it's just so cool. You know, I mean, the wing, you know, the cat, the efficiency. I mean, it's the leading edge in technology, really, in wings in the sport, and it's just so much fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping to see how much fun it is, but hopefully we'll get out there today. You're sailing. Originally, we thought you were sailing with a Canadian designation. Now I saw AUS1 on the sail. You sneaked that in?
Yeah, that was Ashby's idea. That's I think he's won. Oh, I don't know how many world championships he's won with that number, but a lot of them. But yeah, I think originally our number was AUS44, and it just didn't fit on the wing. So Ashby, in his smart way, came up with another idea, and we're able to fit AUS1 on it.
But if you are to win, then it's for the Royal Canadian Yacht Club. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're here with Fred and Magnus, right, and you know, with their team, and our goal is obviously for them to defend. But what would be really cool is if we could get 2 teams out of the 3 boats we've got here, 2 of us in the match racing final. Yeah. And then it'll just be gloves off and you know, a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, obviously everyone's sort of wondering, well, what's the match race going to look like? The last time around, I went and I had the tracks. from the last time round, and I looked at them a few nights ago, you know, and basically sort of at the start, Fred and Magnus left and sort of came back at the start, you know, when Steve was already sailing, and then just sort of reeled him in. No matter what he did, they just sailed around him and went off and won 5 to nothing. What do you think might happen this time around?
Well, I think a lot of it will depend on the boat speeds. You know, whoever enters that, you know, the match racing as the faster boat, they'll probably try and stay clean, you know, and just stay, you know, use their boat speed to win. And I think that's what Fred and Magnus did in the last one. You know, they had a bit of a boat speed edge and were sailing pretty well, so they just wanted to get off the line clean. I think you'll probably see a similar one this time. You know, if someone feels like they're on the back foot a bit, then they'll probably try and be pretty aggressive and, you know, get a jump off the line, maybe try and get a penalty or two on them, and do whatever they can to, you know, to get across the line ahead.
Aggressive, yeah, and obviously talking to one of the most aggressive starters there is. You know, some people call you the pit bull, although I think you're a puppy. How aggressive can you really be with these sort of incredibly beautiful toys that are incredibly fragile? How hard can you push it?
Oh, I think you can just push as hard as any other boat. The beauty of the wing is it's actually boat handling is really quite quick. You know, because there's no drag, there's no flapping of a sail, so you can go through tacks and jibes, and as long as you attach the flow quite quickly and don't get stuck head to wind in irons, then they're actually pretty good.
You must get a lot of shit about that.
Yeah, I'm still reliving that actually. But
it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, that's what I keep saying. That's the line I use. But at least this time I can blame Ashby because he'll be on the wood.
Yeah, yeah. All right, what about that? Are you? I mean, Glenn isn't a match racer. Right? I mean, I can't find any evidence of him ever having match raced. So, will you switch for the starts of the match race if you make it that far?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, we've just sort of kept it open, and I mean, obviously he's the man you want steering a multi-hull. You know, he's the king of it. He's done a little bit with us in Valencia. We did some match racing in the 40s and introduced him to it, and he actually did pretty well. You know, he started to figure it out. So, look, I think he'll be fine, mate. And as long as I don't slow him up too much.
All right, well, look, we'll obviously check back in with you. It's always good to see you, and go out there and have some fun, man.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
All right. Great.
Anarchy!